Hi guys, I'm Cesar Milana here, and today we make another English storytelling on controversial segment. We talk about the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and yeah, this is an English language version of my storytelling. For my Indonesian language version, we have released 6 months ago, aka first storytelling of that year of this year. I will take in the link of the description. So this World 26 World Cup was held in North America, like Mexico, the US, and Canada, which become the first World Cup hosted by not two countries. So what is controversy, which is many controversial here. So don't forget like, subscribe, and share to your family and friends. So let's begin the video, guys. When the United States originally won the hosting rights, FIFA explicitly stated that any country qualifying the tournament must be granted unhindered entry for its players, staff, and fans. But in 2026, that idealistic promise has head first into the reality of the American foreign policy and immigration law. The first major fracture line appeared in the diplomatic office when teams like Iran and Iraq would secure their spots in the big tournament. The logistical nightmare officially began because of decade-long political tensions, strict vetting process, and the lingering travel ban frameworks. Dozens of players, as coaches, and support staff have found themselves trapped in a crueling bureaucratic limbo. The phases that should be have taken took months with the government agencies citing that rigorous background checks for these squads preparing the biggest tournament of their lives. Didn't just happen on the pitch, it happened in the safe waiting rooms, ensure the star strikers and analysts will even be allowed to cross the border that playing scheduled matches. But it wasn't learned about the controversy then turned into outrage from minimum referee from Somalia named Omar Abdulkadir Akhtar was selected by FIFA to fish and high level had the visa application was rejected by the US government when immigration authorities. Despite holding official FIFA credential and being religious support, the security and immigration protocols presented over analytic neutrality, and the international committee was furious the accusation of biased political overreach throughout the social media, and FIFA, an organization that fiercely guards autonomy in football, found themselves powerless against orders of superpowers. The message was clear in 2026. Washington not serious dictates on the world stage. Those fair sad to see Iranian, Iraqis, and the other citizens like the Somali referees who going to the United States in some reason because of visa issue when entering, which was listed that banned travel in the country by U.S. President Donald Trump. That was really controversial to see travel bans in the U.S. under President Donald Trump. Really controversial though. But if the political climate inside was cold, the actual climate outside of the stadium and inside the stadium was very dangerous. Staging a massive across an entire in continent in June and July was fair growing weather risk, but 2026 was pulled extremely high. A brutal record breaking summer heat that settled directly in the southern and western regions of the United States, like Texas, Kansas City, and Florida, as well California, as well as the largest one in Mexico City. In cities like Dallas, Houston, and Monterey, it feels like consistently soared past 90. And some afternoon windows, there were glow temperature, which factors humidity, sun angle, and wind, which overcritical 28 to 32 degrees Celsius mark. To put that into perspective, the Global Players Union, FIFPro, says that anything above 28 degrees Celsius is fundamentally unsafe for the elite athletic exertion, which advise that the strategy will be postponed. Yet, because the radio broadcasting schedules worth $1 billion, the games go on. While some revenues boast the fully echoed climate control, which nearly a quarter of tournament have 104 matches exposed in the open air. Players are collapsing for exhaustion. Hydration breaks are keeping heat strokes at bay. And the fans in the outdoor festival zones are facing severe medical emergencies. The World Cup turned into a literal survival test, raising training question. did FIFA prioritize the actual lives and the people of them? So imagine the football match in Los Angeles, Dallas, New York, and Miami, which at instance make higher temperature here, which is really, really hot to play in the southern part and the western part of the United States. That really hot to play football or soccer in the United States in the high temperature in the summertime. That was really, really hot to play. For international fans who arrive in the United States, climate isn't was only to shock. The next crisis was structural. America's notorious fragmented car-dependent infrastructure, European and South American fans who use the hopings and seamless, affordable high-speed trains to travel between match days have walked into logistical nightmare. Outside of Northeast Corridor, America's railway system is practically non-existent for intercity travel, forcing millions of fans already crumbling the congested highway networks and where the transit does exist and funds are facing severe price gouging. In the states like New Jersey and Massachusetts, a round trip travel have skyrocketed as high as $98 a massive previous tournament like in the German and Canada where public transit was extremely free and the mass ticket system was drained, gridlock hubs was delayed, and foreign visitors have difficult again. Difficult in the game, which even likely that the transit system was trained in the absolute limit, which is when citing international media and calling them as accusations have a major alarms and over safety that citing localized cartel violence is unpredictable for the travel corridors between the host cities and events that place in the North Africa. The Mexican government have deployed thousands of elite troops, and the federal agents have to create heavily forfeited green zones around stadium and the tourist hubs. This is heavily militarized and reserves that there's a reminder that festival football is taking place under visual security shadow. It was very, very controversial to see you watching football match in Mexico. They have a cartels while in the US they will lack of the soccer because they become car dependent country though in the United States because of there's no trains, there's no the train was very, very restricted, they're very limited though. But for all controversy was played in the 2026 World Cup, the most bizarre and the most directly impacts of this particular sport itself is happening right under the player boots. Pitch quality was the head during the widely training sessions between Senegal and the US. In the United States, the video went viral showing the player attempting basic passing and bouncing drills, and only for the ball to act as a moving red cement. It didn't bounce, it was rolled smoothly. As it underlined, to understand what happened, we have the artificial conflict between American gridiron football and the global football, aka soccer. Almost all the major US venues hosting the World Cup as are built primarily for the NFL. They designed to accommodate heavy armored athletes running on straight lines by utilizing ultra hard artificial turf or specialized grass system. But FIBA regulations strictly demanding on natural grass pitches or hybrid grass pitches, which highly specific dimensions and the cushioning to comply millions of dollars and spending of flipping out of artificial turf and installing state-of-the-art hybrid glass. A system where real glass is woven into synthetic fibers and durability. The problem is to install these pitches over the existing concrete and NFL-style base glass in the turf density and soil composition was completely miscalculated in several stadiums. The result is an incredibly dense and non-bouncy and driven surface. The players are complaining at the ball's level significantly slower than requiring physical passing and power than altering plan. Worse, medical staff are warning bounce and high friction and risk of the ankle injury. At the very stage, the world talent becoming the biggest cultural hazard. That was really, really controversial when you see the World Cup stadium with the artificial turf was bad. It was called injury to players. And when they play in the natural grass when hybriding with the artificial one, 95 and 5%, which is what looks like to make a carpet for the artificial turf as well, the natural grass to be mixed, which is could be the hybrid grass. It was less bouncy than the football pitch in the US right now. The 2026 World Cup was supposed to be a triumph and a monument for the American capability, a grand spectacular entertainment, but we have been witnessing the hard lessons of scale when you inflate the tournament with 48 teams and scatter massive nations to force global into infrastructure that cracks down to a shadow to split open. The 20s were the undoubtedly crown champions will generate billions of dollars in revenue, but we'll also remember the tournament to pay, to corporate, and to politically compromise on good the limits on infrastructure and how the much money on the pitch and how much you buy ticket was really expensive in the United States and cannot easily manufacture sold even down to the beautiful game. But we can hear about from you. Are you watching the matches that have noticed that bizarre pitch or impact of extreme health of the player? Let me know the top in the comments down below if you don't pick analytical storytelling it's realities in some controversies, mysteries, and make sure you hit like button and subscribe channel. So thank you for watching. I'm Zizumana and see you in the next video, guys.